rest of the class is silent, awkward. Just bear with us one moment here.
That's what's your last name?
E.
Here we go.
9883.
Okay,
No, we want to go PowerPoint.
right here.
I think that's PowerPoint.
Yep, okay, let's,
There we go.
okay. Look, is that our boat down there manifest? Are we manifesting that? Y'all see that?
That's the vision in its completion.
Okay, all right, carry on. I got excited when I saw a boat. Like the ultimate field trip here, okay.
All right, so welcome to experience a little bit of piece of my life. But really, as you will see as I go through this, who am I actually is, if you can see it, it's going to be a reflection of every one of my stories. Next slide, please.
Oops.
There we go. So the agenda, first of all, see for in the automobile, we'll see welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm gonna go through a quick introduction, talk about my family roots. Then my overcoming you versus you, my life struggles, the vision of why I'm back in school now, where we're going, and then if you can save your questions and write them down, we'll have a quick Q&A at the end, just for the sake of time. And that familiar to anybody in the classroom?
Shahida.
Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so at this juncture, when I do a speaking engagement, usually people are on their cell phones. We have an excellent instructor who makes that part of my presentation a lot easier, because sometimes you will miss something, even if you're writing or distracted. There might be a blessing or opportunity that you were in that moment for to receive, but sometimes we get in our own way, have the opportunity to miss a blessing that's right there in front of us, and we never know who's in the midst of us until later in life when you're like, oh, that's why I met that person. So my name is Manifest Impact Entity because I started a company known as EGA IMPACT, which stands for Enriching Global Alliances. So I saw the things in my neighborhood that needed to be addressed, but then as a humanitarian, I know people are the same all over the world, so we started a global community next slide please, to put this vision into practice. So family matters. I've been blessed. I'll just skip to the church side of me. So when I was 3, my mother married my stepfather. He involved us in a Pentecostal church. That Pentecostal church had an elementary Christian school. So I was blessed to be able to be raised in a culture and an environment that was very, I didn't know this until later, but it was very unique because we were learning about Harriet Tubman, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, all the way back to Egypt and Imhotep. So we were blessed to be able to know about Black culture when I was a kid. In 4th grade, that school maxed out in 3rd grade. So at 4th grade, I was introduced to public schools. And public schools is where I got to wake up to reality. And so as I journeyed through the course of my life, I find that there, and it's not just because of your age that you're young, there's a lot of people my age that doesn't know who Harriet Tubman is, that doesn't know who Dr. Charles Drew is. And that baffles me that they have no alignment with their cultural roots. And what I find is, as I talk to people from other cultures, they're able to trace their roots all the way back to Greek, some of them, or Italy, or Sicily. Unfortunately, I could only go back to Grandpa Fats. And then my mother's mother, she passed when my mother was 8 years old. So only thing I know is that that lineage comes from Arkansas. And my great-great-grandmother, during the time of Grandpa Fat's different side of the family, she was a lover to her slave master. At that time, they could have a traditional marriage or relationship. He just left her the acreage of the plantation in his passing, and that passed through my family. This is generations. There's me in the tribe, and then that's just before my mother passed. At her last birthday, she was 80 years old in September. We laid her to rest. I want to point out something here before I move on, because I grew up in a very strict church upbringing, so I was confused. And I thought that, okay, I gotta get out of here, all this abandonment, mistrust, abuse. I didn't like that culture, that church culture, and I ran from it. So I ran to the streets, and long story short, ended up in Compton, California. Very, very, we call it the projects, but it's an inner city environment that has a lot of violence and crimes, Crips, Bloods, other gangs, and found myself in a situation to where I had to make a choice. I ran away when I was 13 years old, and I had to make a choice. So since I couldn't make the wise choice, my mother made the wise choice for me, and she sent me to live with that monster. That is Hollis James Dunlap Sr. That monster, they called him Barry White. Yeah, they're Barry White boys. He actually put me back on the straight and narrow, and he actually got me back into school. While I was living with him in Hobbs, New Mexico, we moved to Santa Fe, New Mexico, is where I met an Army recruiter who told me that I was too young to go into the Army to enlist, but to go and get my diploma. So I ended up getting back into school, going to get my diploma, and that's when I joined the military, which fate it seems was not without a sense of irony. If anybody is familiar with the Matrix. So you versus you, overcoming me. On your bottom is my right, so it'd be your left. I had to come together because my choices, not only when I was in the military, it gave me an experience of other cultures like Germany and stuff like that, but it also gave me the freedom of the space to self-destruct, if that makes sense. So in my choices, I self-destructed to the point that led to me being incarcerated. I was a statistic. It was a going statistic when I was growing up that by the age of 21, if you were a black male, you would either be incarcerated or in the graveyard by the age of 21. So I chose incarceration, I guess. But while incarcerated, it woke me up to see that there's another perspective of life that I had missed. And my mother, knowing at some point that I would start to grow up and mature, she planted little seeds in me growing up that I didn't realize until I was an adult, that she already gave me the gratitude for self-awareness. And thank God for second chances, because that's actually why I'm back in school now. I'm putting myself in position to take this company globally, and Enriching Global Alliances, our vision and mission is to help a person be able to, no matter what transition they're going through, because when you think of transition, you think of the outside, you think of what's happening to the person from the outside. I got in a car accident. But you don't think about, I was putting on makeup or I dropped my phone, I was looking at my text message, and I looked up and car accident. We take it even a step further. What was going on in your life that had you in the mindset to have that philosophy or belief that it's even okay to text while you're driving? That comes from a mental aspect or an emotional aspect. So we deal with people in helping them to create I'll wrap this up first. Vision and violence. It's not a trick question, but is there anything on that board? Yes or no? Nothing is on that board. It's a blank canvas. Next slide, please. So, the book, 2011, is entitled Knowing the Value of You. It's being revamped. It's gonna be out February the 14th. My love for Valentine's Day to the world. It's gonna be now renamed Your Value is a Superpower, 9 Essential Steps for Creating Self-Worth. And we are going to help people transition into a place where they are in control of their choices. Next slide. Final tips and takeaways. Probably from this slide, what you'll see is that the deepest conversations are sometimes going to be, like in this class, people right around you that have a wealth of information and knowledge that they can share with you. But what I want to point out is that you're enough, and that whatever you're looking for, you've already come equipped with everything that you need inside of you. Sometimes you just need to change the people around you to change the people around you. So we help you do that from the inside out. This is directly for people who are either transitioning out of incarceration back into society, or veterans who are trying to get placement within the community. There is a lot of cognitive and PTSD, depression. There's a lot of emotional and mental things that has to be addressed when helping a person transition. One of which is a situation that happened to me where a gentleman was actually on the bridge in between Omaha and Iowa, Council Bluffs, about to jump off the bridge. And his moment of desperation, I came to the mind, and now he's the author of a book. Does magic, he's changing people's lives. But you never know where you're gonna find people, but we just meet you where you're at. But hopefully, we can put you in a place where you can feel the healing vibrations, which is one of my quotes. Next slide. Thank you. So, blank canvas. This is just an example of how you can transition from a blank canvas to changing not only where you see yourself going in your life trajectory, you can actually create, which is what we teach, the vision environment, not just a vision board. But there's one thing I want you to take notice of, and this is, I pay for this class, it's one of my cheaper classes, but more affordable classes. But one thing I will give you guys for free, because I like this class, is the reason why people shy away from doing vision boards, or why they get frustrated and they say, this doesn't work, it worked for you, but it doesn't work for me. And if you guys wanna know the secret, I'll give it to you. No?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we wanna know.
Oh. If you notice, every vision board, there is a center. And since I've been blessed with that circle, everything's from the inside out. If you look at most people's vision boards, you will see they have cars, jewelry, money, travel, you know, right? None of them are in the center of the vision board. So you have a board that's a vision board, but whose vision is it? Is it the board's vision? If it's your vision board, you notice that, let me give you a prime example. That's me in the middle of my vision board. Throughout every section, and we'll break down the sections in that class, throughout every section of your board, whether it's spiritual, emotional, financial, mental, relationships, culture, giving back, community, education, no matter what is placed on your board, there is 6 sectors your picture has to be in the center of each sector. So it's not, I want $1 million, it's my picture. This is the people that I'm working with or mentors. These are the people I haven't met yet, but they're gonna be instrumental in me achieving that goal. And then it's the money or the $1 million or whatever you want in that vision. Next slide. To wrap it up, I do thank you for your time. I might have been a little bit long, but hopefully you're more enriched than before I started speaking. That's my contact information if you're interested in finding out more about EGA IMPACT. And I love the way this started and ended. It had welcome in just about every language, and now it has thank you for your time in just about every language. And then the last slide, you look at this one.
Thank you, many thanks. Matthew.
Or just hit that little
Is it supposed to
thing.
do something?
Or just hit that little thing in the center.
It's not working for me.
It doesn't work either. It's okay. Okay, questions? You can kill it. This is private.
Is that your birth name?
Matter of fact,